Welcome back. We are now at episode 6 of Make Business Fun Again. Today's episode is going to be about to scale or not to scale. This is something that you've been able to do. How many locations do you have now?
4 at the moment, 5 coming soon.
Very good. So there you go. This is something that people want to achieve, but they never achieve. And also, is it something that they really want to achieve? So let's get into it. So let's talk about what does scaling actually even mean in the first place?
Yeah, well, we talked about this in one of the previous episodes, was that scaling to me was just one of those things that I must have had a belief system from a business coach that was like, to be successful, you need to be able to do multiple locations. And I got really caught up in the whole, you need to be working on your business and not in your business. And if you're working in your business, then you haven't made it. Yeah. And for those listening and know me, you probably realize that the ego is there, and I do like to have that perception of that I've made things. I've made it. And for me, it was just a logical next step. I was like, cool, number 1, tick. From all things perspective, we had the revenue, we had the profit, I was doing well. I was unconsciously competent at coaching. I felt like I was killing it. And I was like, next thing, 2. So a gym came up. And
it's that easy.
It was that easy. Yeah. Let's just go again. We won't go into all the trials and tribulations, but number 2 didn't work out, but then I restructured, and then my third one, which is now my second, went well, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. And I was under the impression, again, back to the belief systems, I was someone who could scale. I was someone who could have multi-locations, do it well, and set like the precedent of what a single owner in Australia could have, because there was a lot of franchises happening, and I wanted to be like the biggest single owner multi-franchise.
Gotcha.
Multi-location.
So why do you think people should scale versus why you think people should not scale?
Yeah, so if I had my time again, it would be definitely looking at asking myself some questions before just diving into it. Yeah, so like I didn't even really stop to think. I just had that belief system of, to be successful, you have to have more than one.
Yep. Like
1 isn't enough. Everyone has 1 gym, was what I told myself.
That's a standard, yeah.
To go more, I had to go bigger and better. And the only way to do that was to go multi.
Yep.
So if I could do it again, I would ask myself some questions of like, first of all, why? What do you want from it? What does it mean to you to have more?
Yep.
So we boil it down now because we've done the work as business coaches to figure out what that means. So is it money? Is it meaning? Or is it freedom?
Yes.
And is that now or is that in the future?
Yep.
And when you get those 3 things, what is that going to do for your life? Whose opinion matters most here? Are you doing this because you think everyone else is going to see me as successful?
Yeah, which is external expectations.
External expectations, which is how most of my life is driven, is, what does everyone else think of me whilst I'm doing this? Yeah. Versus internally, does it actually make me happy? And that's why I was really passionate to talk about this one today. Not to disempower people from doing multi-locations, just to share my experience of like how I felt from doing it.
Yep.
And
because it's a difficult thing to do.
Oh yeah, it's engulfed my life for the last 10 years. And I could have been pretty happy, pretty content with 1 doing what it was doing. Obviously, like, you're never happy with what you've got. You always want more, the gap and the gain. Once you've got it, you want the next thing. And so it is pretty standard to go on that progression. So I naturally just did it without even thinking. Yeah. But it's always easy for people to say, like, once you've got it, you don't really want it. But it's actually the journey that was pretty fun. So in saying that, the journey was great, but now that I've got it, it's like I wish I went back to what I had.
Yeah, okay. So should people scale?
Well, that comes down. That's what I think they should ask themselves. What am I doing this for? What are my goals? What are my desires? Do I need it? And is it for me?
How do you know if you're really doing it for you?
That takes a lot of hanging out with Mario or paying a lot of money on mentors and psychotherapists.
That's such a great question though, right? Like, so how do you actually know that is you, or if that was a societal expectation that you've just decided to take on? And that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you'd ask most entrepreneurs, like, I said that wrong. I didn't even say it that way. Entrepreneurs, what they do.
French.
is like we talk about money meaning freedom, right? And the reason why a lot of us get into what we do is because of the meaning. I loved sports science and I loved coaching. I love being the one that could connect with people one-on-one.
Yes.
And I love that factor training. Obviously, when I got towards the final phase of development, being unconsciously competent and like it was too easy for me to coach. Like that sounds very arrogant to say, but it was just it wasn't fulfilling.
Unconscious incompetence, yeah.
It wasn't fulfilling for me to like tell people how to squat, snatch, pull up. It was just like I've done this for 8 years now. I want to move into the next phase of my life, which was like leadership and mentorship.
Yes.
So that was fulfilling, is moving into that. But then it's like, as you go through those phases, you start looking back at the grass isn't always greener and you go, I actually did enjoy seeing the same people every single week and having that really deep connection, because now I've got 600 and something members. I've got 20 something coaches.
Yeah.
I've got the business course. It's like, it's a lot of people in my life and I feel like I've just surface leveled everyone now.
I think what's really interesting that most people don't talk about, because they glamorize scaling, but what are the sacrifices that you had to take?
That's what I'm getting at.
What did there was so many things, like countless hours. We were speaking about this over dinner. You know, you were doing 12 to 16 hour days.
Yeah.
For a very long time. And like, these are the hidden truths that need to happen in order for you to grow and scale. Obviously not to that extent, because you can learn off people, but like, what sacrifices do you think people have to make in order for them to scale?
I think the biggest one is like shedding the skin of who you were. Like, I hang out with my friends from when I grew up, and we're different now because I did sacrifice so much of my time in isolation and meeting new people. Like, it was fun along the way, but the people that started at BBB, most of them are no longer part of my life. Like, probably met over 4,000, 5,000 people that have been through the program at some stage. Most of them I'm not friends with now. So it's like I sacrificed that long-term friendship that I see with a lot of people to focus on business, which is fine. And I enjoy it. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way, but it's like, I still hang out with like my core group of friends from when I was younger, and they give me shit. They're like, all you do is focus on business. Like, the jokes come up about business, money, finance, obsession, fitness. Like,
and as Ariana Grande says, yes, and
yeah, exactly.
So we just spoke about why you shouldn't scale. Let's talk about what you need to have in place in order for you to scale. So let's say someone does want to grow their business. They want to grow beyond the one location. They want to be highly profitable, which is totally possible. What do they need to have in place?
There's two options. One, you take the road that I took and you just go obsessive compulsive and do everything yourself and just carve your own path and try and, read every single book and take the learnings and just like...
You read?
Apply. Yeah, well, I read like a sentence and then I like feel like I've got the gist of the book and move on. But you can do that and probably suffer your way through. Like, if you've got the grit, I talk about like time, energy, effort.
Yes.
That's the currency. Which one are you paying in? You're paying in time, energy, effort.
And emotion.
Emotion and dollars. I was a tight ass. And still never pay with money. And I was like, I'll just work harder. I'll just do, like, not only will I coach from 5:30 a.m. till 8:30 p.m., I would just work in between those hours and work after those hours, learning. So that's one aspect. You can go that route. The other aspect is you can make sure you've got the infrastructure there to go.
Yep.
So I learn this the hard way. It cost me money. So whilst I thought I was saving money by not getting help, it cost me like 70 or 80 grand the first time I failed a business. And this is like, there's so many unsunk costs that I've absorbed over the years based on my like trying to save money. I just take shortcuts here and I'm like, I didn't have to pay, $2,000 a month for consulting. And then I just get whacked with like $100,000 bill because I fucked up.
And you lose the time too.
I lost the time and then I lose the money twice as hard. Like, I just constantly take shortcuts and I end up getting bitten on the ass every time.
Yeah.
So that's one way. You follow what I did. Or you build the infrastructure. You get help from someone who knows how to do it. You build the infrastructure. You have standard operating procedures. You have staff manuals. You have training and development. You've done the time as a leader.
Yes.
Because I think that's where I wasted a lot of time. And you build that infrastructure and you have a solid foundation. It's like anything, right? The base dictates how high the building can go.
Yep.
I was always building on sand. I was literally trying to scramble. I was like, fuck yeah, that looks solid. Let's just build. Never did some tests, never did anything, and just build as fast as I could.
Yep.
And I crumbled multiple times, still do. And I'm like constantly copying what I didn't do earlier. I didn't build the foundations.
So if you were to start again and install the important things that you need to have, what would they be?
3 things that we talk about all the time. First thing being the skills.
Such as?
Do you have the skills to market your product? Do you have the skills to sell your product? And do you have the skills to deliver your product? The second thing is, can you get staff to replicate not only your skill set, but your values?
Yes.
Because you can only build a building as high as your staff's values. The third thing is the systems. That's the standing operating procedures.
Yep.
It's great to have a tight-knit community of people that believe in you, but eventually they're going to need something to follow.
And systems that can be implemented easily and well. Because you can have systems written down, that's totally cool, but if you don't have your team utilizing it properly and they're not executing on it, it's just a glorified notebook.
We talk about it all the time. So you've got to define it, that's the system, then you've got to communicate it, then you've got to train it, then you've got to hold that standard. So there's 4 key phases of leadership. Then that's the infrastructure.
Yes.
And what we've talked about before is like, we talked about this in terms of like people wanting to work for your company, people wanting to join your company. Do you have the other side of the foundations, which is what we call Bob? Do you
Who's
have...
he? I've never heard of her.
It's actually my granddad. But it's an acronym for brand. Do you have a brand that people like, resonate with, and want to buy from and want to be a part of? Brand is huge, right? Like that's the slow burn. You can advertise your fucking life away. You can spend as much money on advertising as you want, but eventually people see through advertising and they see the brand.
Yes.
So what does your brand look like? Second thing, do you have a good offer? This comes down to your deliverables. And the third thing is, how much money do you actually have to scale this thing? Because
what are you investing? Can you invest the money or can you invest the time and the effort?
Yeah, what's your budget? So BOB is brand, offer, budget. And like you said, it's not just currency, time, energy, effort,
100%.
currency.
So let's kind of wrap this up with this final question. Do you think people can scale in 2024?
No way. No, I'm joking.
No, see you later. Bye.
If I can't do it, no one can.
You failed. Is
No,
it
jokes.
possible?
Yeah, 100%. Like there's people out there that definitely can. If they've got that desire to do it.
And tenacity.
Definitely want to get in contact with us, not just because we want you to join the program. Like they're my favorite people. Like if people have what I had when I was 21, 22, 25 even, of like, if you have the nuts and courage to want to go and scale, like don't do what I did.
And a true internal desire,
Yeah.
not because of comparison. And I think that's where a lot of people fail. They want to scale because they compare themselves, not a true internal motivator.
Yeah.
And that's a big challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah. So yeah, ask yourself the question, do you want to have 3, like 2, 4, 5, 10, 100? Do you want to go multinational? Like we talked about this today about a friend of ours that has a multinational franchise, and I'm not envious one bit. He might be very, very happy. He might be fulfilling his needs and desires. Not for me.
But because you're clear about your values, your standards, your identity of who you are and the goal that you want to achieve, there's no need to.
Yeah, when we break down our 3 biggest core values of money, meaning, freedom, that to me anymore doesn't fulfill those KPIs. The money could be exponential. That'd be great. Wouldn't change my life.
Yeah.
The meaning, I feel like it would only take away because I know that I would have less time. The more people that want you, the less time you're going to have.
Yeah.
Freedom, I don't see me having more freedom, the more people that can contact me. My life right now, obviously because I've been through one side of it and back through the other, is all about freedom and financial security, not financial abundance.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Up to you though.
Powerful episode. If you've got the desire, you've got the tenacity, and you just need guidance, let's have a chat. There's probably a link somewhere around here where you can book in, and let's talk about your plans. I think one of the first things that we'll go through is challenge that desire, whether or not you actually really want it, because we're going to go talk about the sacrifices, the challenges, the things that you have to overcome so that you can have the scalability that you really want. But then if you really do want that, we've got the guidance.
That's the thing. So we talked about in the last episode, there's 4 key aspects. First of all, the awareness. You ask yourself, why do I want it? Why do I care? Second phase is, do I have the desire to complete those tasks? Third phase, do I have the skills to do those things? And if you have the awareness and the desire, but you don't have the skills, you hire a mentor to save yourself some pain. Third thing is, do you have the capacity right now, and do you have the capacity in the next few years? Because it's not a 1-week task. Do not take it lightly.
There you go. Well, there you have it. That's our 6th episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you do, please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, share it with people, because we want to be able to share this wisdom for free for all those out there that need the help. And we'd love your feedback. So we'll talk to you guys soon.